Welcome aboard, everybody. Here we go with another episode on the amusing hobby KF51 Panther. I'm going to be using the stencil that comes with the kit. I haven't seen anybody else use it yet on any of the online builds, so I'll be taking you through what exactly is included in this. The KF51 has actually two types of camouflage, and the stencil only covers one of them. It took a little figuring out how I would use this actual stencil. It doesn't really give you too many instructions in the instruction sheets. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to place each one of these pieces in place side by each. And then once everything is covered, as per the references, I will remove whichever piece needs to be removed to allow that color to be sprayed down, whether it's the green or the black. And so, like for example, this is the base color that is on there now. So what I'm doing is I'm going to be masking out everywhere I don't want any of these other colors to go. So, for example, this piece going down here won't allow any of the green or the black to actually go on top of this sandy color. But once I have everything in place, I can remove whichever piece I need to, and everything will be aligned properly. I'm not just eyeballing it, I'm actually using the stencil, and I'm putting every piece where the reference material says it should be. One important thing you should watch out for is any gaps in between these pieces, because once you go to start spraying the black or the green, if there is an opening there, then that will get some of the paint down on top where you don't want it. You don't want to have like skinny little lines right around where you have these shapes. So just make sure that everything is snug right up against each other, and if not, then maybe find some masking fluid or a piece of tape, and just make sure all those seams where the pieces come together, that they're all sealed up so that you don't have any unwanted areas painted out. Each one of the surfaces of this tank, the hull and the turret, will have its own stencil sheet. So like for example, right now I'm working on the top, looking down onto the hull. So there is a stencil sheet that covers that. It's a little bit confusing because on the same sheet is the turret pieces. So you just have to be careful how you put everything. I'm starting from the front, I'm picking a corner, and then I'm working out from there because I know that that's a safe place to start. So you'll see later on as this video goes along that there is separate stencil sheets for things like the side and the rear and the front. So This video has been cut down quite severely, even though it is pretty long already. But you can see that it takes a bit of trial and error to get everything to fit where it's supposed to go. You have to pull things up, put them down, pull them up, put them down until you get it just right. You can see here I'm starting to take off a few individual shapes so that I can paint the color that I need to paint in those areas. The first color I'm going to paint is the green one, which I'm going to have to mix up on my own. There was no real exact match that I could find in my usual lacquer-based paint. I should probably skip ahead about right now because you're probably all getting a little bit bored, but I don't know. I want to show anybody who might have difficulty with this exactly how I went about it. Maybe leave a comment if you think that I keep these videos too long, showing unnecessary detail with how I do things, but I kind of like it. I suppose it can get a little bit boring and repetitive at times. So yeah, please give me a comment on maybe how you feel about that down in the bleep bloop. Okay? Thanks a lot. Once all the pieces from the stencil are in place, because some areas are not provided for on the stencil, you can just come in with some pieces of regular painter's masking tape and just block those areas off. This stencil system that comes with the kit actually has 5 different sheets. Like this is 5-2, which is for taking care of everything on the left-hand side of the tank, including the turret and the hull. There's one for the right-hand side, there's one for the front, one for the back, and of course the one that we just completed, the top, looking down. There's a lot of areas that are not actually taken care of by the stencil. That's why you see all this green tape that I've had to add to mask off certain areas that were not included. So basically the idea is I'm laying everything down as per the map that the kit comes with for how the digital camouflage should look. And then after I've got everything in place, I'll come back and pick out whatever area I need to clear out so that I can paint the color that's needed there. It does take a little bit of trial and error just to make sure everything is in the right position. And you'll see later on in this video where I actually get a little bit confused about where everything should be. So I pulled out a felt pen and I used some shading to sort of like help me understand which parts were which and how goes with how and what goes with what. So it is a time involved process putting this stencil down, and there might be an easier way to do it, like with some kind of maybe, you know, like some kind of transfer backing tape. But the way it is with all these sort of shapes, it's kind of like I had to just do it one piece at a time. So right about now, things got a little bit confusing for me. So using a marker, I was able to shade in certain areas, like where the black or the green would be, and that way I could follow the map easier. So you can see I've had to shift that piece and a few other pieces, but in the end it all worked out. So you can see here I'm starting to put the paint mask onto the cover of the drone launch unit. And unfortunately, when I took a closer look at the map for how all this should be laid out, it didn't look right. And I had to end up taking everything off and redoing it, unfortunately. So just be sure that you study and look for landmarks within the parts of the kit, all the different panels and panel lines. Make sure everything lines up before you embark on putting any of these down. You can see here I'm using a toothpick to make sure all the edges of the paint mask are burnished down nicely so that there is no seepage underneath the tape when I go to spray this. Here you can see I'm removing some of the mask so that I can spray the green color. And what I'll do is I'll spray the green where it's open, and then I'll come back in later and use either the pieces that I'm taking off if I still have them around, or I'll just use some tape and cover up these areas, and then I'll come in and paint the black.
We're ready. You have to tag them a little bit more. You have to brush them a little bit more. You can also hit them on the body, hit them on the head. The round is very close. We're visiting, so we got to make more of a difference here. Work in the middle range. 1, 2. Throw the hooks. More combinations.
Keep the pressure, that's all we're doing.